Falcons fans, welcome in. It is episode 51 of Out of Your Falcon Mind, Atlanta Falcons fan cast. And it's episode number 1 of us being on the Variety Sports Network. And I'm joined by my co-host, as always, Mr. Mike Cottrell. What's going on, buddy?
Out of my Falcon mind, man. Out of my Falcon mind, buddy. I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm excited about this one, man. I'm just ready to go.
Yeah, me too, man. So we got a special guest with us tonight. I guess you would call yourself the host, right? You are the host of the new Millenium Falcon Podcast, right?
One of the co-hosts. I won't take full host responsibility, but,
okay.
But yeah, well, been leading the host spot for a little bit now.
Yeah, fair. That's fair. All right. So anyway, we got Tre'Shon with us. If y'all are familiar with Falcons Twitter, Tre'Shon, you can just go ahead and introduce and tell us a little about yourself before we get going.
Yeah. So Tre'Shon, tags right there by the name. Been on Falcons Twitter, been a part of the ATB network, working with the Falcons ATB group. Been breaking down Falcons, super excited, been a fan for a long time. I just want to say I'm with Mike. I'm out of my Falcon mind right now. I'm excited to be here with the boys. So I know we're gonna have a good show, and I know we're gonna have some fun.
Oh yeah, no, we appreciate you joining us, man. Really. And also, like I just mentioned, like I said, our first show on the Variety Sports Network. You guys can follow them on Twitter at Variety _ sports _. And if you've got, if you're fans of other teams, they've got a ton of podcasts on their network. So you can go check out and find yourself some probably some hidden gems in there for other teams you might want to follow. And I mean, it's all around the world. They got, soccer, NHL, you name it, ML, Major League
worldwide, buddy. I want to see kids in Africa that's out of their Falcon mind. I mean, starving, but out their Falcon mind.
Hey man, we had the Eastern Europe, dude. We had Eastern European locked down there for a little while. It was crazy.
Got Germany ski. We got ski in Germany.
There were a lot of UK Falcons fans at the Rams game I was just at. I actually got to say, I was surprised.
Really?
A lot of UK people came out to LA for the game.
Good.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, because it was funny when maybe 10 episodes in, we had noticed we were looking at some analytics, and it was like Kazakhstan was like one of the we were like, who the hell is listening in Kazakhstan? But thank you.
Yeah.
I mean,
I love
all the teams to pick. Yeah, man. So anyway,
so hold on before we get started. Moment of silence for Matt Ryan on my fantasy team.
Oh my goodness.
I just want to personally apologize to you, Matt. I love you to death. It's just business, buddy. It's business, and Tua was available as a backup. It's just business. I love you to death.
Dude, that's a rough start. Was it 4 picks and 5 fumbles so far?
Yeah. Yes.
I mean,
and to be honest, he's getting dragged because all of us say, man, I'm telling you, when he get a line, when he go to another team, then to go over there and kind of have the same result, but people don't understand. He went to the Falcons in a different uniform, no receivers.
It shouldn't be that way, though. Yeah. It should not be that way.
Yeah.
So I feel bad for him, but I'm sorry, Matt. It was a business decision. It was gut wrenching, but I had to do it, buddy. Tua was available, and he went off last week. Sorry, buddy.
He did, and
I love you to death.
And they got the Chiefs this week too, so it's not getting any easier for them. So
no, it's not.
Yeah, that might be really ugly. I was actually
Tre'Shon, hold on, John. Before we start the book, Tre'Shon got books behind him. What books are those? Because I just see it's red and black. Is that the Falcons playbook behind you or something? What is that?
No, the Falcons playbook is much smaller than that.
Shots fired. Shots fired in the first 3 minutes. I love it.
No, so the big red and black, that's Berserk. I don't know if you're familiar with the manga.
I have no idea.
Yeah, that's a highly recommended. It's a great, fantastic, basically graphic novel. So
okay,
if you like that, definitely recommend Berserk to anybody out there. And then that's Dune. That's the Dune series.
Oh, damn.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, I'd recommend Dune to anybody. Great book series.
Do you think they did a good job with the movie?
Because they split the first movie. I knew the first one would be kind of boring. I think a lot of people felt like it was boring. It's beautiful.
Dude, I liked it.
They're doing it right, because the first half of the first book is it's boring too. So you know what? I feel like the second movie, people are going to be excited. That's all.
They got. I mean, it's all set.
Got a lot to look forward to. So
yeah, it's all setting up storyline and where things are going to go. So you got to do that. That's all. That's a good call there, Mike. All right, so we got an email, guys, before we get into anything. All right. And you guys, anybody out there, if you're listening, you can email email us anything, atlfalconfadcast@gmail.com. We'll be happy to read it out. We had several last season. We had a few in the off season. So in this first one we've got this season, it says, hey, John and Mike, just wanted to write y'all a quick note. I found you guys kind of by chance last December. I was looking for Falcons podcast. Out of Your Falcon Mind just pulled me in. Great name, by the way. How about you, Mike? There you go. Anyway, without getting into any detail, I'll just say that this has been a tough year for me, and it might sound silly, but being able to disconnect for a few times a week, listen to you guys talk about the Falcons and all the fun y'all have on the show has really helped me out. Y'all keep doing what you're doing. As you say, John, much love, guys. And that's from Jason. Pretty damn cool, man.
That was extreme. I would like to say this, Jason, to you, buddy. It does the same for me to do the podcast at times. Like everybody knows what happened with my dad and all that. So it has the same effect for me to be able to do it and just be on here and to be silly with you guys. I appreciate it. I'm glad we can help you out. If you like the nonsense, buddy, you keep it tuned in Out of Your Falcon Mind. I love it.
Yeah, man, definitely, Jason. We definitely appreciate that, man. It's that's not an intended consequence that we we thought we would get with the podcast, but it's a really good one. I'm glad we can provide that for you, man. All right,
it really meant a lot. I'm gonna be honest. It really meant a lot to hear that.
Absolutely.
Me up for a second, yeah.
And props to y'all, John. I was telling you before we started the show, me and a couple of the other guys have been talking that we really felt like a new voice was needed, and that there was like some new blood that needed to be out there. And, I think that just shows, the impact you guys are having. And that's awesome, man. That's really awesome to see.
Much appreciated, man. We're gonna
I should grab some tissue for this episode, buddy. What is happening? Out of Your Falcon Mind, the sentimental edition. I love it, man.
I'm telling you.
Nah, I truly appreciate it, Tre'Shon. I really do.
Yeah, man, definitely. Thanks you, Trey. All right, man. Now let's get into Trey. Let's get into your Falcons fandom, dude. So let's see. Now, number one, where are you from, and what age did you become a Falcons fan?
Originally, I guess I would say I'm from Dallas, Texas. And the DVD era, man. That was it for me. That's when I got hooked. Duckett, Vic, done. That was it. It was over. And we've had some. For me, I felt like we started off at a high when you're a Falcons fan, right? Then, we had like Vic, everything was rolling, man. The sky was the limit, right? The Dirty Birds were back, and then hasn't quite gone that way for us since then. But been loyal to the squad since then. It's paid off. We had some good years with Matt, and we had a chance at a ring and everything like that. So for me, I'd say it's probably like almost 20 years being a Falcons fan now. I'm trying to think. I'm not trying to date myself with the DVD era.
No, well, you don't. That's the real fact. But hold on, Trey. I have to ask you. So you became a Falcon fan when the Cowboys was at least kind of good. How much is the pressure to be a Dallas fan if you're in Dallas? Is like everybody Dallas fans?
You know what? Everybody is a Dallas fan, or everybody hates Dallas fans. I can tell you this growing up in Dallas. Wow. I can tell you this growing up so it was actually nice growing up in Dallas at that time, because really I lived through the drought, as they like to call it.
Okay.
The 20 years or something like that they went without going to the playoffs. So, in that time the Falcons were, actually going to the playoffs. We had life, it was great for me. So, my dad is a huge Cowboys fan.
Yeah, okay.
Huge Cowboys.
Yeah, man. My mom is.
Yeah. And they're they're different, man. They're it's a different breed. They got the pedigree, and they want you to know it. So it was definitely tough at times. I'm not gonna lie, but I think people would be surprised how many anti-Dallas Cowboy fans
are actually good,
in the city of Dallas.
Yeah. Yeah. So hold on, Trey. I have to ask you this. Now this is not to do with the Falcons. But if you have to pick your favorite, and you got to see all the games locally, you have to pick one Dallas Cowboy that you've enjoyed watching over the years. You pick who?
Oh, well, if it's one I actually watched,
or just a Cowboy, I would say this, just somebody you admire from Dallas.
Okay, so a quick story.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys know who Bob Hayes is. He's from the original America's team.
Yeah.
Olympic gold medalist and Super Bowl winner. That's actually my mom's godfather. So,
whoa, shit. Okay.
Yeah. And my grandfather was a dentist in the Dallas area growing up. Tony Dorsett was one of his best friends.
Oh, man. Yeah.
When I was a kid, when I was a baby, Emmitt Smith held me in the grocery store.
What?
So
I
gotta say those are my three. I can't pick one, but I gotta say those are my three guys right there. That's the reason why.
Bob Hayes, Tony Dorsett, and Emmitt Smith. You can't go wrong with that.
No.
I love it.
Well, I mean, and talk about dating yourselves. I mean, Mike and I started when we, Dion, like that was, we're that old. So, I mean, and then, but I mean, like we saw the Cowboy, like that Cowboys line in the 90s. That was the first time an offensive line was ever like, that was the first time an offensive line was like, man, look what they can do.
Emmitt would run and he wouldn't get touched till he was like 6 yards into the run. Like, I mean, it was weird. Yeah.
Yeah. They were, Nate Newton and freaking, Larry Allen and all those guys. Yeah, that was that was a hell of a team. All right, so you chose Falcons basically, you said because of Vic and that whole squad, basically for the most part. Yeah.
DVD. I like that. I've never heard that. Man, you got to put that on a shirt or something. I enjoy that. DVD. I never heard that.
Man.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was who became or who is still your favorite Falcon then that you've like since you started being a fan, or do you have? Can you quantify?
Even though the breakup was kind of nasty, it's Julio. But you know what?
That's you and Fleet.
That's damn near everybody, man.
Yeah, that's everybody.
That's what Dave said too from Falcon.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna. I'm gonna. Julio is 1A. Roddy White's 1B.
I love it. Never heard that one before. I love Roddy White.
It's between those two for me because I got to see y'all remember when Roddy first got here, it was like he was a bust.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He had a bad case of the drops. He wasn't able to get anything going. And I mean, if he had gotten a QB like Matt, and didn't have to go through the whole Vic era thing, if he had gotten a QB like that at the beginning of his career, he's definitely touching 10,000 plus all-time yardage, putting up some serious numbers. So Roddy for me was a guy, and he reminds me of Drake. Nasty, likes to finish, he'll block, do the dirty work. So I'll give Roddy
White props.
You saw he's up for the Hall of Fame.
I know, and I didn't think he would be so soon.
Me either. I thought he might be. Yeah, he thought he might be down the road. I mean, like him and John Abraham as well. So.
Yeah, the Predator, man, he's got to get in. Yeah. We got to get John in.
Yeah. That dude was every time we think about that's like our last really dominant pass rusher that we had. Man. I mean,
you knew he was getting you 10 every year. You weren't worried about it.
You could pin that in. You didn't need to pencil it in. So
other than me, like the year I played, I think I had 23 sacks or 23 and a half, something of the sort.
It's because you were so
I had a bad knee.
Yeah, it was because you're so small and fast. It didn't.
That's what it is.
Just kind of like squirted up the middle, and that was.
You know what I mean. So.
Yeah, that's funny. And now Trey, you were saying, man, you're in Portland now, right? You're in Oregon. So
I am. Yeah.
Not a whole lot. And how's the Falcons contingent out there? Not too big, eh?
You're looking at it, man.
There's no Falcons bars out there, eh? Nothing going on.
No.
Now I have to ask you this, Trey. I've always wondered this. Is Oregon, is that city like, is it a downtown, or do you ride around and you see farmland, how they try to like seem it on TV? Is it a city? Is it
it's a city
with bars and?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a city.
Okay. I actually like, man, y'all got the finest girls track team I've ever seen in my life. Man, Oregon, just Google Oregon.
Eugene's a lot of Tracktown USA. They do the Olympic trials there. So that was a lot of, gotten to see that before.
Yeah. So. I think Steve Prefontaine was from there. I'm not sure. I believe so.
That's a hell of a pull right there. Jesus.
Yeah.
All right, man. So before we get into the Seahawks preview, Trey, man, what general thoughts on, I guess you could say, Arthur Smith kind of so far in his tenure? What kind of just your general opinion? Like, Mike and I, when he first got hired, we didn't really know. We knew what he did at Tennessee, but we kind of had honestly zero expectations because we didn't know, obviously, first time head coach,
right?
The roster that we had, we really didn't know what was going to happen. He did, I thought, a hell of a job with what we did have last year. Granted, some bumps in the road that you would expect from a first time head coach, some kind of shaky decision making. We were hoping to see change this year, or improve, I should say. So, So what say you?
Yeah, for year one, year one for me was always kind of a wash. In terms of what that season would really mean. I didn't think that we'd get a real evaluation till right now. That being said, there were some things in year one that that were both encouraging and then not so encouraging. I feel like we got to see little flashes of his offense and things like that. And maybe it was the QB play, maybe it was just the weapons in general. I think we kind of forget the wide receiving group we had last year was injured and was already depleted. So kind of tried to take it a little bit easier. Now going into this year, you wanted to see areas of improvement, like you had said, in the play calling and kind of overall with some of the decision making and things like that. And I also want to say I was somebody that didn't mind Arthur Smith's the way he presented himself to the media at the beginning. I think people kind of jumped the gun a little early when they were complaining about some of his shorter answers or how he didn't respond well to some reporters and things like that. But over time, as that's continued, some of it has just felt a little bit kind of like lashing out, at this stage. And you can talk that way when you win, right? It's way easier to talk like that when you win. And everybody always says they want a Belichick coach until they're losing and they have a Belichick coach. That's at that point everybody thinks that guy's a jerk. Nobody thinks he's a cool guy anymore, or like a strict enforcer type. Now they're like, oh, well, he's just being a jerk now. So, it's kind of how it goes both ways. So the play calling against the Saints was fine. I think when we got to the fourth quarter, it just kind of came down to mistakes, right? I don't think there was anything about the play calling itself I would say was terrible. I would say, the quarterback fumbled the ball in field goal range, and he fumbled the ball at another point in the game, and you can't give the ball away. And that opened the back door to really let them come in and finish that game off. But the Rams game, I was at that game. And it was really exciting to be there for that comeback, man. I got to tell y'all.
I know you was going crazy.
28-3. Everybody's now looking at the few Falcons fans that are in there. Everybody's cracking jokes, right? After that, I got to see what it looked like to be a Falcons fan for about 6 minutes. The fans were melting down. They couldn't handle it. So I just want to say, every Falcons fan out there, we are built different. People couldn't
we out of our Falcon mind.
Rams fans couldn't last 5 minutes in shoes. But the first 2.5 quarters of that game, really frustrating.
Man,
I didn't really understand on the offensive or defensive side of the ball what the game plan was. It didn't look like they knew what the game plan was. They did turn it on. They did start to get things rolling, and they saw the fight that I know everybody wants them to see for 4 quarters. But still, nonetheless, 28-3 ending up 27-31. There's something there that's impressive, but Kyle Pitts, I think that's the hot topic. How are we using Kyle Pitts? I think there's a lot of people that did a lot of good all 22 breakdown out there this week, and I think the fair criticism is that Kyle Pitts is not getting the ball in the red zone, and he's not being schemed in the red zone. And that's undeniable. The film reflects that. The film's been showing that he's off the field for some reason, or Parker Hesse is the guy that has the play drawn up for him instead of Pitts. And Mariota's missing him between the 20s. So, I'm not completely on Arthur's case in terms of how Kyle Pitts is being used, but I still am a little bit because he's got 1 touchdown in 19 games. That's the reality of it. Like, we can try and look at this through a 2-game scope if we want, but if we're going to evaluate his utilization, well, I'm looking at all 19 games and I'm saying, how does he have 1 touchdown? And then Drake London has scored more points than Kyle Pitts. He got a touchdown and the 2-pointer. Drake London has more career points than Kyle Pitts at this stage through 2 games.
Insane.
So I'm going to quote Trey real quick, okay? Trey responded to somebody on Twitter that said, just be patient. The season just started. Look, let me tell you what Trey said. The man has 1 touchdown in 19 games, so let's stop acting like this is a 2-game issue. I love it, buddy, because it's true. It's true.
Yeah, man. When we talked about it on our last show, I mean, it's like, and I'm kind of, both with you as well, Trey. It's like, I'm not killing him for it. I mean, and we know he wanted to improve as a blocker. He's done that. Great. Awesome. But like you said, being off the field in the red zone, and remind me of Julio being like gone when DQ was here. Man. And I'm thinking, I'm like, dude, I don't care if you're hurting, like, you're still Julio. Like, people if you're on the field, they have to account for you.
Yep.
So if Kyle's on the field, guess what? Same deal. Because I mean, like, he's that type of monster. So like, I couldn't fathom, like, wow, yeah, Parker Hesse, Kyle Pitts. I mean, so I mean, to me, yeah, I mean, you've got to find a way to scheme him into some of these things, man. Like, you can't draft a guy with the playmaking ability that he has and pass block and use as a decoy. Yeah. I listened to what Marcus said too, and he, they interviewed him yesterday, his press time, and he was saying, I'm sick of hearing the ball will find him. Like, that's all they keep saying. The ball will find him.
You throw that ball.
Yes, you are in control of that ball.
Yeah, like, you got to throw it to him.
Yeah. So, and like, we talked about in the last show, Mike. Like, I'm not sure that he's number one read sometimes. Where it's like, to me, if I'm like,
you can see that he's not,
right.
At least based on Mariota's progression through film, you can see that. Part of that is Marcus just doing one and done. Where that's kind of the. With Marcus, it's always been a little bit the double edge of his game. He likes to scramble, or he gets a little nervous. So, but yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, and the other part of it too. I mean, yes, Drake is getting open because of it, or he probably is benefiting from it, which is great.
Yeah.
But again, they even ask him, like, can you explain your connection with Drake? How's it happen so quickly, even with him not really playing much in the preseason?
Hardly at all.
Exactly, and his answer was, that's all Drake. That's all him. He said he's progressing.
How is so? It's not.
He said that. Yeah, he said that's it's a testament to his physical and mental development, like, so far this quickly. And it's so. I mean,
wow.
he basically just said, like, I mean, we don't really have anything special. It's just, I mean, so dude, don't tell me that you can't do the same thing with Kyle, because and he doesn't. It's not like Kyle lines up in the tight end spot all the time. Like, they move him around in the slot. He's outside wide. I mean, like,
I think he's been outside 6 plays. He's only gotten 1 target.
Right.
So, I mean, he's not getting looks.
He had 3 targets in last week. In the first 2 games, he has the same stats in both games. He has 2 receptions, 10 yards. Well, that is unacceptable. If I got in my car and I jump in the back seat and I say, man, like, the car will, like, find its, like, way to, like, Starbucks, then I'm not getting coffee that day. You know what I'm saying? I'm stuck in the back of my car asleep. It don't work that way, jackass. You got to find him and scheme him open. And we happen to be the only team, I said this on the last podcast, the only team that doesn't do that. When these other teams have a star player, they scheme around that player. They make sure that if a screen
pass, Cooper Kupp this week.
Yeah,
Cooper Kupp had double-digit targets, double-digit catch again every week.
Yes, he should have it. It's same with Antonio Brown. When he played with the Steelers, he was getting 10 plus a week. And it don't matter if it was a pitch, a screen pass, I'm getting you the ball because he's dynamic with the ball in his hand. Get him the ball and stop saying it'll find its way to him. That's not how life works, buddy. I don't find my way to shit. I go get it.
Yeah. And Arthur said yesterday that Kyle's been targeted plenty, but it just hasn't been there for him.
Yeah, not been targeted plenty. That's those kind of statements are what's concerning.
Yes.
If he feels like he's getting a fair amount of targets, that's,
Well, and he went on kind of like, he said he didn't want to bore anybody with some of the analytics and stuff like that, but he said basically certain coverages
now they like analytics,
right? He said there's certain coverages may appear. He's like, you may see it on film and say, like, oh, well, it looks like he's not double covered there. Well, you don't know. He might be. There might be this guy. Like, he basically was saying, like, not every coverage is going to seem what it appears. So and that he's going to but he still felt like, he said, I feel like he's going to break out and we're going to win because of it. And he said he's an unbelievable person and teammate. But he also ended it with a real quick sentence that I'll do a better job as well. Yeah. So, I mean, like,
he needs to.
The pressure is mounting on that. You have to do a better job now because everybody's noticing it. And it's not anything you got to study. We have eyes.
Yeah.
Like, he's not being targeted. I don't know what world you in. I mean, if I said I'm like, come on, bro, I'm 5'6". I can't say I appear to be 5'6", but in reality, if you got beside me, I'm 6. Bro, he's in a different dimension. Yeah, I don't know if he have on the Oculus headset. I don't know what he's looking at, because I can see the man is not being targeted, plain and simple.
Yeah, well, all right. Well, that brings me to my next question for you, Trey. So obviously, Falcons fans are pretty much split. Like, I did a poll last week on the quarterbacks, and actually not even split. The poll I did, it ended up like 76% said bring Ritter now.
Yeah.
And like it was like 15% stay with Marcus, and like 6% didn't care. So I mean, I already said on the show last week that as far as my confidence in Mariota, that's 100% gone. Like, I just he's been in the league so long. He is what he is. I mean, I didn't expect him to have a Pro Bowl year type of thing. I mean, I expected him, with the weapons we have and the improvement in the line is shown, I expected a little more just from, like, I guess I didn't expect him to lose his games. And that's kind of what he's done these first 2 games. So, I mean, what say you on the quarterback deal?
I'm gonna be honest. I was really low on Mariota coming into the season. I did not I didn't have any faith or indication that he was gonna get better. And if anything, I was kind of just under the impression that he was honestly brought here to get benched, because this is the guy that benched him the first time around. Right. So, to see him, I wanted him. Now, that being said, like, I wanted Marcus to, to be able to do something.
Yeah.
Or at least, like you said, not be out there straight up losing us games. But, we were talking about it the other day. You want to see your rookie make the rookie mistakes, right? This is an 8-year vet out here doing the kinds of things that I'm like, well, if Ritter fumbled at the goal, rookie, he'll learn from it, shake it off, let's hope he doesn't keep doing that, But with Mariota, it's like, why am I watching this 8-year vet do this?
Dude, and
week in, week out.
Yeah, and not mean to cut you off too. He said, like, I think in the post game or maybe the next day,
game on.
Dude, he basically said, he was like, I've got to be a better communicator. I've got to communicate better. Like, that's what a rookie says.
Yeah.
Like, you're 8-9 years in. Like, that's the basis of your job. Like, is to make sure everybody else know what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
Like, rule number 1, for the quarterback. So, I mean, like you said, man, I wasn't super excited. The only thing that I thought was, okay, I mean, he's familiar with Smith's offense. That's good. We're probably going to draft him a quarterback that's probably going to be mobile. He can help him out. Because the one thing that Mike always said, like, he wanted Matt to be here when we drafted a quarterback, so he could, whatever tutelage you could get from him, would be great.
I think the mental prep that Matt would have given a rookie is probably far better than what Mariota is able to give to one of our rookies, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. And I thought the only silver lining, I guess, in Mariota's was that, and we talked about this on the show a little bit before, that he's been like, Matt never really had like any downs. Like, Matt's career was pretty much from the start 11-5, and I mean, he was never. I mean, I'm not even going to debate that, but like, folks will say he was an issue. But anyway, he had
I know. Yeah.
You know where I'm going with that. So anyway, he never had he was never benched. He was never, not starting for a year, so Mariota's been through the highs, kind of, sort of, had a high
first pick.
Right.
All that
right.
Stuff,
And definitely the lows. So, like, if anything, he could help help Ritter prepare just mentally for some of that stuff, that, hey, this is what you're going to have to expect, that type of thing. But of all the quarterbacks we could have drafted, I think, I mean, mentally speaking, dude, that Ritter's just about as ready as, and I didn't, now, seeing that at Cincinnati is one thing, but seeing how he performed in the preseason, granted, I know it's 2s and 3s, but like, seeing that was impressive, man.
Yeah.
The dog hates Mariota. See what I'm saying? The dog hates Marcus.
This is the second week in a row that we've seen.
Yeah. Hey, okay. Have you ever been to McDonald's and you went and got like some nuggets and they didn't stick the sauce in it and you just had to eat the plain nuggets? Again, I'm gonna do this every show until he get benched. I'm gonna compare him to a bland food item, because that's what he is. he does the minimum. And the same what John said. I don't expect flash. I didn't expect him to beat all, but don't lose us the game. I expect that from you as a vet, that you don't do, that you can handle a snap. So I don't want to hit it. And then I'm really big on how you speak after the game. The stupid shit that you just said he said, I didn't hear him say, but I'm infuriated over here that you said he said, oh, it'll find him. Bruh, that is frustrating to hear your quarterback say the ball will find him. I want to hear my quarterback say, we will get him the ball. I'm going to make sure of it.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I want to hear from you when you got Kyle Pitts. I don't want to hear this, oh, it's going to magically. No, it won't magically find him. You have to intentionally find him. So I'm not a fan of the dude. And Ritter, again, I don't expect a guy that's his first time in the NFL to be more poised than a veteran. He seems more calm than you. Again, man, he was overwhelmed. He seemed overwhelmed by the. I know. See, Trey was dead, so I know he heard the noise. It was loud as shit in there, wasn't it?
It was actually pretty loud. I was surprised.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? So he just seemed like he was panicking. I don't like that from my starting quarterback.
Yeah, and this week's going to be even louder, like way louder.
Yes, it'll be even louder.
Yep.
So that'll be interesting. Yeah. So and I'm all like, I understand not starting Ritter this week just for that very reason. Like, you don't necessarily want to throw a rookie into maybe the most loud, crazy atmosphere in the NFL. So I get that. You know, with Mariota, I think, and we'll get into it later, I think we should beat the Seahawks with Mariota regardless. But like I said, you can't, you know how the Falcons are. But I mean, and another thing Arthur has been preaching a lot, and I've read everything, is situational football. We got to be better at situational football. And it seems like the situations that we have to have, we don't perform. That's when we screw up. Like, that's when we lose it.
John.
The fourth down call last week, like when we go for it in the second quarter.
Yep.
Like, situational football. Okay.
Yep.
You're gonna run up the gut into the teeth of that
against the Rams
on 4th and 2. Like, I don't, like, what? I mean, we covered it last week, but like that type of stuff, you know, like, come on, man. Like, there's got to be a play call that's in that book of yours that's amazing, that we can get 2 yards. Like, you have to throw it on that down, man. I don't see running at that front on 4th and 2. Trey, what'd you think about that call?
Yeah, you know, weren't we in the gun?
Yes.
Yeah, that's that. When I saw that, I almost knew we were going to run, because I don't know if I have this just impression that Arthur Smith just outthinks himself.
We
like,
said
he
the
just
same thing last week.
overcomplicates things, and it's like, you've got CP. We need to put out, I think, a missing person report for Keith Smith. I'm not sure where this man is, but I know he takes up a roster spot.
Yeah.
You know, why do you have a fullback? One, if you're going to make Parker Hesse be a fullback, you know, I don't really understand that. So line it up and run it if you're going to run it. But if not, pass. Don't outthink things like that.
Yep.
That's what made it most frustrating to me, is that it's obvious this guy's in his own head.
Yeah, like, you know, we said it on the last show. We said, man, dude, you don't have to be the smartest guy in the room, man. You've got all these playmakers in offense. Stick them all on the field and see what happens, man. Like, I mean,
what works.
Yeah,
because I'm gonna tell you what it again. I think that you think that I think that you think and that I'm thinking, and then you do something dumb. But here's what I want to speak to y'all about, because you all agree on this. I've seen it from Trey and I've seen it from John. 2 things that really frustrate the both of you guys, that really pisses both of y'all off, is the prevent and the soft zone. So I just wanted to bring that up to see you all be triggered, like, together with that. Soft zone and prevent. I'll be quiet. Please go.
You know,
look how long it took him to say something. I told you, I was a trigger warning. I knew what I was doing. Go ahead.
So we went back and we looked at the film, right? And I think every Falcons reporter out there was like, they didn't actually go soft zone. They didn't actually go soft zone. They did run soft zone on a couple plays. They just didn't run it on every play. Right. And when did they run it? They ran it on the very first play that Jameis ripped it down the field that started the drive. That was soft zone. You can go back and look at that one.
Almost an entire drive was.
Yeah. The bigger issue was they started feeling themselves, and they put in Quentin Bell. They put in I can't even, some of these guys got deactivated after this game. I don't even remember who everybody was that was subbed out there. But the point is, they also sent out a package that had no business being out there for a whole drive. Saints caught on to that. What do? They keep him in hurry up. Now you can't sub anybody off. He got out coached on that first drive. And they knew that we were going to come out, and they knew we thought that we were just going to be able to wrap this game up in a nice little bow. We didn't have to worry about it at all. Pete Carmichael has been like, I've played you guys way too many times to know exactly what's about to happen. Goes out there, steals a touchdown. After that, they got out of the soft zone a bit, but it was just too late. You could see the walls were crashing in, and they couldn't believe what was happening. And yeah, that's all I have to say about the soft zone.
John?
No, yeah, he said it all. And two after that drive too, Trey, they kept in some of those backups on the D line.
Yeah, they still kept them in.
Yep.
They asked, they thought they were gonna, we're still gonna get this. I don't know.
Yeah, like who are you to think that?
Exactly.
Like, what have you done that you thought we're gonna wrap this one up right here? I mean,
they were feeling those press conferences before the season started. That's what was happening. They were in that game. They were beating down a team that everybody said that they had no chance of winning. They started feeling really, really good, and they started coaching like it, and they lost.
Yeah. I mean, and that aggressiveness that we saw in those three quarters, that was great. I mean, I haven't seen that from that defense in a long time.
Nope.
And, but you just, like we said earlier in the show, you gotta sustain that for 4 quarters and not take out your main guys. We talked about some of the positioning, like Richie being 25-30 yards off the ball blows my mind, because he can't affect a play there. Anybody can see that from the quarterback's looking, okay, cool. Like the pass where thankfully Darren Hall calls the fumble on, great play. Same thing. He was 30 yards off the ball, and where's that pass caught? Right where he should have probably been. If he was playing in a normal safety position, he could have affected the play. And I don't know, like I said last week, I don't know that maybe there's a reason. I'm sure there is. I'm not Dean Pease. I'm not, the smartest guy in the room either. So maybe there's a reason he's there. I just can't figure it out looking at it on the screen, because it looks insane to me that he's that far away from the actual play. So, and especially on a 3rd and 4 too. We're not stretching the field here on 3rd and 4. They're trying to move the chains and run the clock out. So, I mean, just, the simple things like that. But so
Hold on. One, I'd like to bring up one thing. This week's defense, we saw a familiar face that made its way back onto the field that I don't think anybody was hoping to see.
Oh God, you're gonna say Eric Harris, aren't you?
Eric Harris taking a lot of snaps. Apparently, this was said by Pease today that he wanted to use more complicated coverages versus the Rams. So that's why he put Eric Harris in.
I don't think that
Eric Harris for your more complicated coverages. I
was getting ready to say.
I was at the game. I can tell you this for a fact. Nobody was looking at the sideline more for clarification than Eric Harris. So they must have been some complicated coverages, because he looked confused. I don't know. Let's just hope that Eric Harris is not seen as much as this week against the Seahawks.
I couldn't believe that. I mean, I was like, is he lined up at nickelback? Why is he out there?
and nickel made no sense. You've got Hall, you've got Alfred. Why do you got all these promising guys that we saw throughout the preseason? Let them be the ones to make the mistakes. This kind of goes back to the whole Marcus thing, where it's, we want to have some solid veterans on the team and things like that, but you gotta let these young guys go out there and just let it rip, man. If they mess up, they mess up. But that's what rookies do. You're watching a vet do the same thing.
Yeah,
it's frustrating if it's a vet.
No, Eric Harris was on this team, I thought, in case of a catastrophic injury.
Yeah.
like that's what I was hoping. Like I didn't, that confused the hell out of me. So yeah, I agree with that, Trey. So going into the Seahawks game, Arthur was talking about, well, I mean, they kind of talked to him about Geno and everything, what they expected. And through 2 games, Geno has 81% completion percentage, 392 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Now, majority of those passes have been short passes. There hasn't been really stretching the field or anything like that. And they beat the Broncos in the first game, 17-16. I don't know if that was just Russell and the new environment back home, and that whole I don't know. I watched that entire game, and I mean the
Broncos have been
Broncos
looking a little rough themselves.
Broncos didn't look
They did not look good against this last week either.
No, I agree. And they came back to earth last week. The 49ers put it on them pretty good, 27-7. They got up early in the game, and they pressured Mariota. They pressured Geno really well, and I mean he really couldn't do much of anything. They couldn't get the run game going, which Pete Carroll even said in his press conferences that they've got to get more consistent with the run game. And so with that being said, I mean, what do you think what about that team actually? Does anything scare you about the Seahawks, or is it we don't need to like kill ourselves in this game?
Man, we said this yesterday on the ATB Falcons podcast, so I'm going to stay consistent with it. But the Seahawks are a lot like us. If there's one other team in the league that I think I'm like, yeah, man, the roster ain't too great. They got a couple nice pieces.
They got young guys.
Yeah, they got a DK Metcalf. Okay, that's
Mm-hmm.
cool. That's cool. They got a Charles Cross. All right, that's a really promising left tackle. Rookie Andrew. I believe Thomas on the other side, or another promising rookie. So, but overall, Geno looks a lot like Marcus's look, in my opinion. Like that's the same guy. That's who we all thought that guy was.
Yep.
Marcus could easily be 1-1. But what happened. So I think I'm not too worried. I think it's kind of like you said, we don't need to beat ourselves, but at the same time, I think it's going to be a closer game. I don't think these teams are really too different, to be honest with you.
Yeah. What worries you, Mike?
I'm not worried about the Seahawks. If we have a close game with Seattle, it'll change my mind on the Falcons. Their offensive line is garbage. That's why they can't run or throw. So last week they was 2 for 7 on third down. They had 10 penalties and 3 turnovers. If we struggle with them, it really says more about us than it does with them. But I will say this: the only thing that scares me, if they had to pick one thing, is the crowd noise, because I just saw what it did to our team. I just saw like it scrambled our brains. It was like it was weird to see like a veteran that can't handle that. So I don't expect him to do any better than it's going to be louder. So I don't expect him to be better. I expect him to target Pitts a slight more because of the pressure that's on him. But that's the only thing that scared me about them is the crowd noise, because they can't throw the ball. They have Geno Smith at quarterback. Come on, man. It's Geno Smith. Like it's Marcus Mariota.
You do recall Geno beat us with the Jets here at the Dome, right?
I do remember, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm still pissed about.
Hey, so did Marcus.
Right. Yeah. But the worst one was when, who's the dude, John? I was was it Carolina who just beat him?
Well, Sam Darnold. You hated him, but
Sam Darnold. When Sam Darnold beat us, I almost jumped off the balcony. Like, come on, man, that's too far.
It was Trubisky for me.
But they're
Tim Boyle, Detroit.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's
not even on the squad anymore.
Didn't we lose to Dolphins? Jay Cutler.
Yes.
That was that was awful.
God, what kind of freaking road are we going down? We got to stop this right now.
Okay, yeah. Sorry.
All right,
but I'm gonna tell you, it is the crowd noise. I saw how that really bothered it. I mean, it was on the offensive line who couldn't hear, the quarterback couldn't hear. So I don't expect them to perform better. That's the only thing about this team that scares me.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, the crowd noise. I mean, Mariota being able to process the procedural penalties we have in the red zone have got to stop.
Ridiculous.
Like those are killing. I mean, they've killed us last week. I mean, that we got to stop doing that shit. So yeah, nobody. I mean, Metcalf on AJ, and we'll get to that in a little bit. I'm sure AJ will be on Metcalf for the majority of the game. Big size differential there between those two guys. But I mean, AJ's used to covering all sizes and shapes, and the number ones for a lot of teams. I mean, so I mean, he's got a lot of flack to these first 2 games. I thought the Saints game, he kind of did about as well as he could have done in those few plays he gave up. I thought Thomas had great positioning, and Jameis put it where it had to be. Where he got beat by Allen Robinson. I mean, that was just, he probably wanted that one back. He just got beat off the line.
Yeah.
But we'll get into more AJ in a little bit. But a few numbers on the Seahawks, and this is why I think a lot of people are high on the Falcons. I know it's 2 games, but they're 29th in scoring. They have a hard time scoring. 31st in yards per game. The 24th in opponents' yards per play. So they're actually allowing their opponents to move the ball pretty. I mean, I think it was like 4.5, 5 yards a play, which, you're doing that, you're going to have a lot of success. This is even with, I think even the Broncos had 400 and some odd yards. They just couldn't score. They couldn't put it in the end zone for some reason, and Russ couldn't do his thing. They're 29th in, we already talked about the rushing game. They're 29th in rushing per game, 27th in passing yards. They're 24th in penalties, 24th in opponents converting their third down conversions. So they're giving up a lot of third down conversions. So are we. So something's got to, we figured that shit out this game. But so I think that's why a lot of folks are, I think I can't remember what it was, but it was like 8 dudes picked the Falcons and 1 guy picked the Seahawks for the predictions. And so, there's that. But overall, I'm kind of with you, Trey. Like I think we should beat them. I think just based on what we have compared to what they have, I think we'll probably, I would, the only reason I think we probably won't score like 30 is because of the crowd and just it being Seattle and being different. Now, if we do, awesome. But I think it's going to be more of a tighter game, probably in the 20s, for me at least. But Mike, what do you think, man?
I think we beat the shit out of them.
I know you did. I know you do.
You know what I'm saying. I think we going to the Super Bowl. And Mariota's the MVP. I don't know. No, I'm saying we beat the shit out of them. It's the Seahawks. Again, I think we have a great team. I wouldn't say okay. I think we have a good team. That is still, I can't put a lot of weight on the first 2-3 weeks of the season because a lot of people don't play in preseason or they play sporadically or it's still preseason. You got to get your feet under you. You got to get the shape and you got to have your win. You got to start to know the playbook so you can play unconsciously. I expect that to get better. I love what my Michael Walker and him are doing on defense. On offense, I'm not going to get on offense. I think that the offensive line has improved. And I think if you can incorporate Pitts with CP and Drake, I see that as being a problem for anybody. And I mean anybody. I just hope they work on, I think the game with the noise will help them because it's 2 back-to-back games with noise. I hope they get those signals called and it'll be a more streamlined process. I don't expect it to be close. I don't want to say the score yet, but I don't expect it to be close.
Okay. Yeah. And one thing we haven't mentioned yet, but Seattle has 2 young corners as well, who's got some penalties. They've been really handsy with with their receivers these first 2 games. And Pete Carroll even mentioned it in his press conference. He said they've got he thought the calls were kind of ticky tack, but he's like, of course he's gonna say that, but he's like, they're covering tight, but they're a little bit too tight. They're getting penalties called. So that's something we got to watch out for with bigger guys like Drake. And, we haven't seen much of Brian Edwards, but, with our receivers and everything, that's something that's going to come up. And then I think Trey, you mentioned their offensive tackles. Yeah. Charles Cross could be a hell of a left tackle before it's all said and done. He was great at college, but overall, it's the offensive line's not great. So, there's definitely matchups we should win, if we have some good play calling and good decision making, but that's the crux of it.
Yeah.
We show up the mistakes like the snap fumbling and shit. I think we will win games because we could be 1-1. And I think we could be 2-0.
You never know if that
could be 2-0. If you hit Brian in the numbers instead of a jump ball, he ain't Calvin Johnson. If you hit him in the numbers, I think we're 2-0.
Or throw it somewhere else.
Yeah, or throw it somewhere else. I wouldn't, this to you, Brian. I love you. I don't put the game in your hands, buddy. And that's no slight to you. I just don't. You got Drake for a reason and you got Kyle for a reason. When the game is on the line, I'm throwing to one of my best players. I'm not going to Brian Edwards. Again, that's no diss to Brian Edwards. I love him.
Well, that play kind of
panic.
Yeah, panic. Well, it's everything we talked about all in one play. And it was he didn't have to get all 13 yards in one play. We knew we were in 4-down territory. Didn't even look to the right, to the flat where Oz was open. You could have got him for an out, and he could have. He may not have gotten the first
to fight
down.
Another down. Yeah.
Exactly. But you're going to have a lot shorter fourth, and I mean, and you didn't need to, I mean, like you said, throw it up to Brian Edwards with 3 guys around him, especially one of them being Jalen Ramsey. I mean, and just that was Marcus and everything, just all that was it. And that's, like I said after the game, I mean, I hope he proves me wrong. I hope he goes out, just kills it this week, kills it next week, and when we keep winning. I mean, but I just don't have a ton of faith in it. I mean, that's just,
he won't.
I mean, yeah, so we'll see. But anything else on the Seahawks, guys, that any matchups, anything like that, and that worries you or anything?
No, I wouldn't say worries me, but definitely interested to see how our own rookie edges do against these rookie tackles. So Seahawks are starting 2 rookie tackles, and we got D'Angelo Malone, and AK's already got 1 sack so far. He had some pressures in the Rams game as well. So just want to see him keep growing there, and hopefully I think you already mentioned it earlier, John, but hopefully AJ can have a pretty solid game against DK as well, because eyes are starting to be looked at AJ a little bit more harshly now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
and you got to watch Tyler Lockett too. He's no joke.
Yep.
He's no slouch.
Yeah, Casey's
Trey, so I got a question for you, buddy. You have to pick one of these, okay? We have a quarterback issue. You have to pick from these 5 quarterbacks, okay? You got Marcus Mariota, Baker Mayfield, Cam Newton, RG3, or Sam Darnold. Who are you starting as you have to pick
today? Like I gotta pull RG3 out of the booth.
Yeah, you have to pull RG3 out of the booth.
God.
He's scratching his head, ladies and gentlemen.
I guess I'll say Marcus. I'll just stay with Marcus at that point.
Oh, no.
Because he's a nice guy. I couldn't put up with Baker Mayfield, man.
I got you. Yeah.
I couldn't do
John?
that guy.
Yeah.
Those 5, John.
Yeah, number 1, I can't stand Cam Newton. Baker, no. Sam Darnold, hell no. What was the other one you said?
RG3.
Oh, dude, yeah. Pre-knee being destroyed, sure, I'll take him. But I mean, like, maybe
so you're sticking with Marcus too.
Yeah, I mean, from those, yeah.
From those, right?
Yeah. I mean, shit. I might take I might take Troy Anderson at this point over some of those guys.
Hey, he can play quarterback.
Yeah, you know what? Or Bernie. Yeah, put Bernie.
Bernie. Yeah, yeah. Where's he been, by the way? I know
he got on the field last game. He had two reps on offense, so he was throwing blocks. Hasn't got to run a route yet.
Yeah,
would not be surprised that if at some point we do see Ritter this season, that we start to see some Bernie, because we already know those two have a connection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what got him on the team.
I mean, that's honestly.
Yeah.
One more, Trey. One more. You've been a Falcon fan for a long time now, buddy. Okay. Now you can pick one Falcon player. Okay, you get to pick one of these, one Falcon player from Falcons past to play this year on this roster to help this team. You only get them for 1 year, and you get them at the peak of their talents. Who you going to get to help us out?
Oh, I get to pick?
Yeah, you get to pick. One player, and it's at the peak of his talent.
Yeah, man, give me Mike Vick. We're winning it all.
Mike Vick.
I love it.
Okay.
Give me
and
Mike
you know
Vick.
what? He's the first one to say Mike Vick.
Yep.
Man, with this team, yeah. Mike, everybody gives him flack for reading the playbook. This would be a really easy playbook to read, so I'm not worried about that.
Oh, yep.
And then on top of that, Mike never had Drake London, Kyle Pitts, or CP. You give Mike Kyle Pitts, he's getting the ball, man. Like, you don't have to worry about it. So
I love it. Good answer. He's the first one to say Mike Vick.
Yeah, but do you think about it? I mean, he's right. With this, I mean, my God.
This squad, like,
easy playbook too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and you've got to be encouraged with the offensive line, at least so far this year. I mean, I'm not going to. I mean,
2 sacks in 2 games, right? I think that's it. None in the first game.
Right, none. And then you're going against the Rams too.
Rams,
yeah. I mean, you looked at PFF, like we talked about on the last show, which that's hit or miss the way they judge shit. But I mean, like Dahlman and Wilkinson and then I think McGarry were terrible as far as the PFF grades. But I mean, you kind of have to. I mean, for me, it's kind of like, okay, there's Aaron Donald. I mean, there were some mistakes made clearly. I mean, like there was the blown protection when dude came through for the sack. That was, clearly not good. But I mean, like, they're going to make mistakes still. They're going to be perfect. But I mean, compared to last year, holy hell, man, it's
They've
like,
improved. Yeah.
light years better. I mean, when I don't know if you heard the episode, Trey, with Dave from Falcoholic, but he's convinced that Mayfield will find his way back to the team at some point.
Really? He thinks that
Hope
they're
from
just.
Show.
He said he believes like they see something in him to have not have, like there's got to be something there.
That's what they see. They see arrogance. They see pride. That's what they see. Man,
I told him on a few shows ago, like the reason he got a low back pain is because of that way he's blocking. It's just not correct. When he comes out of his stance and goes backwards, and so all of a sudden he's got a lot of stress on his low back. He can't do it. So yeah, but so anyway, to kind of wrap up the Seahawks game, it's at 4:00 on or 4:15, whatever it is. So for us,
4:25,
for us it'll be
1:25 for me. Yeah, I'm going to be at the game too. I'm going to back to back.
Yes, Trey.
Hell yeah. So and I will either be here watching or I'll be at a baseball field, and I don't know which yet. Right. Sunday morning, we got Liam's first tournament Sunday morning at 8:30. So we got to be at the field at 7:30. Yeah. And then we play again at 12:30. And so if we win those two games or we have good, good results in those two games, then we're going to end up in the championship game, which will be at like 5. So I won't be on social media at all if that's the case. Like I'll record the game. I won't text anybody.
Shut everything out.
Leo, buddy.
I come home and then I watch it, and then I'll, so Mike, if you want to text during the game, feel free. Or not text, but tweet.
Live tweet.
Yeah, you can go crazy with it because I typically do that, but I won't be doing it on Sunday if we're at the baseball field. So I mean, that's we hope we're there because we hope they did good enough to be there. But and I could watch it on my phone, but I'm not gonna be that kind of guy.
No, don't do that. Yeah,
I'm not gonna be that guy. It's just not right.
It didn't pop up on my phone until just.
No, that's okay. All right. So we'll get to the score prediction. We got Liam here. And like I said earlier in the show, you won last week, of course. You almost predicted the score. He predicted 37-27 and it was 31-27. So
crazy.
Insane.
There's no rhyme or reason to it. But anyway, so Trey, you're the guest, buddy. Why don't you start us off?
Oh man. All right. Last night I went with 24-21. So again, I'll keep it consistent. I'm going 24-21. Falcons.
Like it. Mike?
21-3. Falcons.
What the
21? I'm telling you, I believe it's Geno Smith, man. I know we got Mariota, but Geno Smith without a line, how can you have no running game, you have no line, and you have Geno Smith. It's like, I have no 3. I think you get a field goal. 1.
Fair enough.
All right. What you got? Oh, you want me to go? All right. So I said earlier, I think we keep the game in the 20s, but I do think they'll score I don't know. I just have that feeling they're going to score a few times on us. So I'm going to go 27-24.
Okay. Close one. Liam, come on, buddy.
27-20 Falcons.
27-20. Wait, at least he picked the Falcons.
I like that.
I love it.
27-20. Yeah, I can see that happening too. So we'll see. We'll write it down and see how you come out next week. So
he might be 3-0. He might be 3-0.
Yeah, dude. I'll tell you what though, if your score is correct, I think we'll all be very happy.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I will be. Yeah,
I'll be ecstatic. I mean,
I'd love to see that in person.
Grady gonna act a fool with that offensive line, man. They ain't not blocking Grady, man.
Dude, that stadium will be so pissed off, and if they score 3 points, I mean, my God, they'll be asking for Drew Lock next week, the week after, if that's the case.
Well, I'm
we
sure
are due for a dominant performance.
You probably have a lot of Seahawks fans around there, right? I would imagine.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of Seahawks fans around here.
Yeah.
Seattle's it's only about 2.5 hours away, so it's not too far.
Yeah, I kind of
Trey, you have to post how loud that stadium is. You just got to do like that. You just got to let us know how loud it was, because I heard it was like ridiculous.
I'm prepared, man. I'm bringing earplugs.
You got to bring plugs.
I'm prepared, man.
So Trey, when you go into enemy territory, now I've been to the Dallas Cowboys Stadium, okay, a few times. I wear my Matt Ryan. I wear some. What do you wear when you in like enemy territory? When you the Rams game of sit, what are you wearing in like to stand out in enemy territory?
I had the throwback Pitts jersey.
Ooh, okay.
So it's just all black. and then just some simple white shoes with just some red back tips. That's it.
Okay.
So yeah,
I love it.
you know, have to support my guy, man. Need Pitts to get the ball, man. Need to let him know that the fans know it's not him, that we still love him. Like, you know.
Yeah,
So,
well, he said all the right things. I mean, he's being the good teammate, man.
You love to see it, but at the same time, I think George Pickens came out today. And they interviewed George, and George said, "Well, I'm open every time." I'm like, "See, man," I'm like, "That's what George is, a second round, third round pick." I'm like, "Kyle, you pick fourth. You can talk like that too, man. Every once in a while, like."
That's just George Pickens. That's just his personality,
George, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun watching him just throw DBs on their ass right off.
I'm like, y'all all know this is coming at this point, man. How are you letting him do this?
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
Trey, one rookie who you're impressed by is who? Falcons.
Most impressed by
This season.
2 games.
Man, that's tough. I'll go ahead, even though he probably hasn't had a ton of production. I'll say Troy Anderson.
There you go.
And here's why. The block punt's great. Just to start off, the guy, man, he looks like a freak out there. First of all, the dude stands out. Like he's able to cover the field like nothing. He really does look as advertised from the athlete standpoint. And everybody wondered, the mental aspect of the game. Well, how fast is he going to get on the field? They're saying he's a project. He was really only a linebacker for 2 years, inside for 1 year. We know how much DMPs does not like to play rookies. Troy Anderson taking snaps in game 2 on the defense, that's huge. That speaks volumes to me as to what DMP sees from this guy, what the staff thinks of this guy. That means that they're like really starting to feel like he's making the, all the right turns that they want to see. He's figuring out the playbook well. He had a couple of moments, when he was out there taking reps that he'll need to learn from. Down on the goal line touchdown, he did kind of get washed out a little bit of his gap responsibility. But you live with those with the rookie, like we talked about earlier. Those kinds of growing pains are going to happen. That's a guy I think has made a lot of strides, and I'm excited to see keep going.
Yeah, man. When we were at the preseason game, the last preseason game, we were down close to the field too, and he's a big ass dude, and to be able to move the way he does, and I mean, he was on the field quite a bit, and his ability to chase down a runner and his closing speed and all of that's all there. And I mean, I didn't expect seeing how the rookies were used last year, I almost expected him not to barely at all play this year. And I had really no expectation. Like if he does, he gets in there, awesome. But I would expect to see a lot more of him next year. But like Trey just said, I mean, if he's in there now, I think he played something like 18% of the snaps last week, which is substantial for, like you said, the DMP's defense and using a rookie that way. So, I mean, never know.
John, I tell you, man, I know everybody was hyped about Drake and everything, but that's when I saw footage on that dude. That's who I was hyped that we drafted, even though he was at a later draft. I was super excited. I think he's already started. He got fans already. His jersey starting to sell. We really hype on Troy Anderson.
Yep. Yeah, I think there's still obviously the best is to come on that one. I mean, he's just getting started. So yeah, he could be special, man.
Yeah.
All right. If nothing else from the Seahawks, man, we'll go to in or out. Mike, you got anything else? You did.
No. The last thing I want to do before we do in and out, I have to ask Jessica, because it's out of your Falcon podcast. You see this guy behind me, man. I just want to get your feelings on this young man behind me, man. What do you think about him? His tenure here, him leaving, everything. I just have to ask.
Yeah, man, Matt's probably, regardless of who my favorite player is and everything like that, Matt's probably the most important Falcon in franchise history, I think. You look at how he came in to the building, Petrino, that whole scenario, everything like that. We had Byron Leftwich and Joey Harrington taking real snaps at quarterback for us. And a
Dark
roster.
days.
Oh man,
Mhm.
if you had told anybody back then, like if Twitter podcasts were, could you imagine tweeting out that the Falcons are going to go 11-5 with rookie Matt Ryan and make the playoffs? You've been laughed off this earth.
Yep.
Dude,
Yep.
80% of the people wanted Glenn Dorsey
Yeah.
Damn.
Yes.
easily.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted Glenn Dorsey. There were many articles written that said that, Matt Ryan's cool, but we really messed up. We missed a generational player this year. We didn't get them. And there were people that, yeah.
Matt
So
Ryan.
I think Matt is great. There's nothing I can be mad at him for how things ended, because, he didn't make those decisions. He got out there, and I'm happy he went to at least, he didn't go to the Browns or a Lions, or, he went to a franchise that has a little bit, I would say, more, cachet than probably, what he's used to. And, I'm worried for him now,
Me too.
because
I was reading a little bit, because I try to, like Mike and I talked about before. It's like, and when we had a discussion on one of the shows prior, people who there's the folks that are like, okay, he's not on our team anymore, so I'm done with him.
Mhm.
Like, don't care what happens. And that's fair. That's cool.
Yeah.
For us, I mean, like, he was such a, we were huge fans of him. So it's like, obviously if he's playing us, we want to win. I mean, I hope he gets sacked 30 times and we win the game, of course. But if he's not playing us, I will hope he does well, because he's a good dude. He did so many great things here in Atlanta for the community, still does, and he still does. So like, I always I hope nothing but the best for the guy. And I was happy he went to what we thought was going to be a contender, kind of, with a great offensive line, who's not showed up this year, maybe the best running back, top 3-4 running back in the league. Receiving core we knew was going to be a little bit, and so, but man, just reading some of the comments and reading a few articles, it seems like, man, Frank Wright is there. I mean, they're not super happy with Matt, but they're really not happy with the head coach. So I don't know how long he's got to turn that. I mean, I think they were all expecting, 11-5,
we were
winning division.
That was
absolutely, yeah. So I mean, we'll see. And like I said, I think they're going to be 0-3. I don't see that. I don't see them beating KC this week. But I guess it's NFL. It's the stranger things.
But he did perform his little usual. He was losing that first week, and he did his normal thing. Matty, he almost brought him back to win.
Almost,
but
yeah, you're right. Yeah,
gotta love the dude.
All right, so in and out.
Go in and out, buddy. You want me to go first?
All right. So Trey, in or out, man. This is if you've not, I guess you probably heard, like, this has been a few episodes we've done it now. So we just say a topic. It may be football, Falcons, or maybe not. Just you're in or out. You can elaborate on it, or you can just be in or out, and that's it. So Mike, you want to start? You want me to go, man?
I'll start it off. Let's go, Trey. Okay. First one more on my in and out. Man. Okay. AJ Terrell has fell off. 4 touchdowns in the first 2 weeks. You getting embarrassed when you go against legit talent. Has AJ Terrell fell off? Can
I add to that real quick?
Yes, go ahead.
Because we should have, because I have this on one of mine, but it's worded a little bit differently.
Oh, okay.
So it should generate the same answer.
Okay.
So, or has he benefited from a lesser corner from him? Like last year, he had, a lesser corner for opposite him, so there was no reason to go toward AJ, right?
True.
So
good point.
Did he benefit more from that last year? And now this year with Casey Hayward opposite of him, is he going to prove to be just an average cornerback instead of the all-pro that we saw last year?
Tough one out the gate, Trey. What do you say?
I'm gonna say, man, I guess if I'm going off what I've seen right now, man, I don't know. John's made it tough. John's added piece there.
That's good, right? That was genius, John. Actually,
I can't have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So I guess I'll have to say, if I got 1 foot in, then I'm in. And so I put over on ATV. I caught some flack for this early after the first game, because I said I put AJ on Jag Watch. I don't know if y'all were familiar with the firm Jag. So just a guy.
Right.
So like, I love AJ. I know Michael Thomas. This, that, the other, great positioning. You couldn't win 1 rep. You couldn't win 1 rep. They're gonna dot you up and go 2 for 2 for 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
Picking on you specifically.
They looked right at you and they said, we want that matchup.
Yep.
And then man, you can't fall asleep.
No.
And that's just what happened. He fell asleep. It was clear as day. He was peeking in the backfield for a little bit, a half second too long. The ball snapped. He had to overreact to the first step because he just wasn't ready. He bit on the inside jab, and it was over. Just beat right off the line like that. Quarterback's like the second hardest position in ball, in my opinion. I think
No doubt.
because your mistakes are magnified.
Yep.
Unlike anybody else's. So, when it comes crashing down, it comes crashing down hard. And I really think one of the things is like what you said, John. I do think he benefited. I don't think Monroe was as bad as everybody thought he was last year.
No.
But he still is, I'd rather take a shot at Fabian Monroe over AJ Terrell, right? Like at the end of the day, Casey Hayward came down with the pick when they took a shot at him in the end zone.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Ooh, hey, that's a good take, Trey. I love it. John.
And we it's funny, man, you say that because we looked at the numbers of like when Moreau started getting just hammered last year at the end of the season, as far as like from the fans, we looked at it like overall its numbers. Dude, it was not that bad. Like you considered with how much he was being targeted and what he did with it. I mean, it was okay. It was definitely serviceable for what, to be opposite of AJ, no doubt about it.
What made Monroe frustrating was just the penalties. That was really it. Like, but his actual cornerback play for what he was getting paid, we were paying Monroe
$1 million,
$1 million.
Yeah.
You got your money's worth.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%. All right. John. So I want to believe that he's the guy we saw last year because what I love about him is he is not afraid of anything. Like he'll put his body, he tackles and he will put his head down. And I've seen him do really well in coverage. Another thing on him coming out of college is, well, look what happened in the Alabama game. He got torched. He did. That's true.
Look what's happened. Look what Jamar Chase has done since.
Exactly. So, I mean, like I didn't take that one, so, it is what it is. I mean, I think, he's going to bounce back. But I will say this, he does have a hard road ahead of him with some of these number ones he's going to be going up against. So we'll find out. I mean, I think we'll find out more about him this year than last year, just because of the talent around him is better.
That's a good point.
You in? You in?
I'm gonna be positive. Yeah, I'll say. I think he's going to be. Yeah, I think he's going to be. Let's just say, yeah.
All right.
John is on the fence. Let me tell you. He's staying in. This is not in. I can tell.
This sounds like out, John.
I'm telling you, he's out. I can tell. He on the fence.
My heart says yes, but my brain says no. But,
yeah.
So we'll just go with that one. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Next up, Mike.
All right. I got another one for you guys. Okay. Are you in or out on that rule that if a defensive lineman is running at the quarterback and he thinks that the quarterback is about to throw, he then jumps up with his two hands in the air. His hands have to land somewhere. His hands often hit the helmet of the quarterback. He's called for a penalty. Are you in or out on him protecting the quarterback to that degree?
I'm out. Yeah, I don't. This football, dude. Like if you guys slapped in the head, I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
Like what did that do to you? Nothing.
Yeah.
Like you said, I mean, the falling on the quarterback, like if it's a bang bang play and the dude hits the quarter, what do you expect him to do? Like, and to this point in our existence, we haven't figured out a way to defy physics to that magnitude yet.
Yeah.
So when a 250+ pound dude can remove himself from the body horizontally in the air, there will be come on, man, give me a break. No, I'm out on that, especially that one you just said though. Totally out. Yeah.
Trey,
I'm out, but I think they should look at it like how they look at roughing the kicker versus running into the kicker. I don't think there should be a penalty if he comes down, he hits the QB's helmet, whatever. If he comes down and let's say the swipe causes, he hits the face mask and it causes the helmet to turn, there's a little bit more, sure, you can throw a flag for that. But like, I feel like it's pretty clear, when you see a guy come down, he hits the helmet, like you said, what else can he do? So yeah. They protect the QB pretty well now, man. They got like, you can't fall down on them a certain way. Ridiculous. You can't hit them below a certain line either. So, I think the QB target is just, neck to stomach at this point.
There's some
hit,
older,
I guess, but it's tough, man.
Neck to stomach is a way. You have to hit him dead center to not have a pen. It's ridiculous. Like John said, it's some things that are just physics, man. I can't. Like I'm not 11 from Stranger Things. There's no way I can do so.
Exactly. And
everybody's only getting faster. Nobody's getting slow. Yeah, it's
right.
It's the speed of the game
Momentum.
has changed.
Yeah. And
Okay.
there's some old school DNs that would be suspended like for half the season if they played in today's game. Wouldn't even be close. All right.
I got another one for you guys. There are some players that I see in like other sports that just stature alone, I'd be like, he could probably play fucking football. Like two of them are Bron James and this dude. I'm gonna screw his name up. Is his name Judd Aaron that plays
Aaron
for
Judge? Yeah.
Aaron Judge.
Okay, Judd. Do you think, are you in or out that these two dudes could play like tight end or I don't know in the NFL if they wanted to?
I'm out.
Yeah, I'm out.
Oh, he said he didn't even think about it. Hold on, Trey. Why you say that so fast? LeBron James at tight end, buddy.
LeBron doesn't want to get hit, man. Not at the NFL level. Yeah, everybody remembers playing in their high school football days, right? Every you talk to a lot of guys that think, oh man, I could have gone. Even some of the best athletes that you knew played another sport, you still knew they couldn't cut it in football.
In the NFL.
No, and I and I say no to Aaron Judge just because I know he's injury prone, or not super injury prone, but he gets hurt a lot already, without making contact. They gotta hit people their size like that. I don't think they think about that. They're used to thinking like, no, I'm this guy. Like, man, you haven't had Myles Garrett across from you before, and now they're allowed to hit you. Like, you getting hit.
That's he didn't even think about it, John. So you?
Yeah.
No, I'm out too. Yeah, I mean, if of the two, I think LeBron probably would have been the closest to being able to do it, just because of his athletic ability alone. Judge, I don't even know if he played. I'm sure he played other sports, but I mean, baseball is a whole other thing to itself, man. Like there's some athletes that play baseball that's it. I mean, like there's, and it's not a knock on that, because I mean, hitting the baseball is one of the hardest thing to do in sports.
Athletes as well,
right?
It's just different.
It's just different. Yeah.
Not
absolutely.
NFL though.
Exactly. No.
I got you. Okay. How about that? I got another one. Okay. I feel like we all have gotten really a taste for these exquisite foods and these fancy foods. What about the old classic? Are we in or out on peanut butter jelly? I never heard the last time I heard somebody say I made me a PB&J, I was like years ago. Are we in or out on peanut butter and jelly?
In all the way.
We in? Okay.
100%.
Oh yeah.
I had one like 3 days ago.
I was gonna say, I still make PB&Js.
Johnny Yates, I love it. Okay, we in on PB&J. I'm the same way.
Crunchy peanut butter or smooth?
Crunchy.
Smooth for me.
I like the crunchy shit.
I did the crunchy. I'm down.
I dig the crunchy.
Yeah.
Here's a good one that I got from Trey. It's gonna jog his memory. Sometimes you go and you grab a poke bowl, and for some reason, 100% of the time, they put it in, but then you get a full poke bowl and it's damn near impossible. You just got to start eating it and then stir it and eat a little bit more and then stir. Should they be making pre-mixed bowls at this point? Why are we not? Are you in or out on pre-mixed bowls?
I'm in. I think it's not hard to me if you just go ahead and like put the ingredients in together and mix them up like 100% of the people are going to do, rather than trying to eat each individual ingredient by themselves. Like nobody does that. Like what are you doing to us here?
I don't know. Trey.
Well, you already know I'm in. I don't understand. Here's what makes it more frustrating when you got the poke bowl, right? You're eating with chopsticks. So now I got to rebuild this whole bowl each time with a pair of chopsticks.
Yep.
Gotta make sure I get a little bit of edamame and oh man, the rice just fell out. Hold on, let me get it again. And then if I'm mixing it, I'm making a mess. I do my best, man. I set up my hands, everything, make sure, and I'll look over and there's like 5 leaves all outside on the table. I go to pick those up. Somehow when I pick those up, a bunch of beans and everything else fell out on the other side. So
I've started asking for 2 bowls. I just stick it in the other bowl. I do it myself. I put it in a way bigger bowl. The last one I have, You work with two of the GOATs of the game, my man Savion and my man Fleek. You in or out that Savy and Fleek are two GOATs of this game, that two amazing GOATs of this. Are you in or out? I'm in on that because those my guys. What do you say?
You know I'm in, man. Those are my guys. Feel super lucky to be able to work with them. We've had a blast now making our pods together and everything else like that. They are, like you said, man, they're two GOATs for sure.
Two GOATs.
Yeah, man, and they're great guys in the Falcon space, man. Both bring their own unique takes. Man, Fleek's always got the energy, man. He's always excited, and Savion's always there too, man. He's got it down. I think he was the first person that called out this season all the Jameis hype. I remember in the Saints pregame show that we did with a couple of Saints fans, Savion was telling everybody, "Don't believe the Jameis hype. He ain't ready yet." He was right for 3.5 quarters. But you know what? I think that he's gonna be right all the way for this season. I think that we're gonna have a interesting year, and I don't think Jameis is back.
Me neither.
Man. No, we said the same thing. Savion actually helped me co-host one week that Mike was out, and he said the same thing that week. He was like, "Nah, man, he's done," and he's a Florida State guy. So I mean, no reason to diss the dude unless you just really don't believe it, But I mean, 3 picks last week. Devin White knew it was going to happen.
Yep. John, right. Are you in or out?
Oh, of course I'm in.
Of course, buddy.
Yeah, they're great dudes, man. Come on our show. Fantastic. Like Trey said, fantastic takes, man. And just overall great folks, man. Yeah, got to be in.
I got to be in. So that was all I had, John.
I got a couple of them. We'll close it out. All right. Pitts will still surpass 1,000 receiving yards this season.
I'm in.
He'd have to average 64 yards a game, just so y'all know. Average.
I'm in. Because the pressure will build on them to get him the ball. I think they will find a way to get him the ball. He's too talented to not. 2 receptions for 19 yards twice is unacceptable. And I think Arthur Blank will tell him that.
Mm-hmm. Trey?
I'm going to say out. Yeah. He's going to have to cover some ground. And I, as much as I believe Arthur will maybe increase the amount of looks Pitts gets, I don't know if we'll have the quarterback to follow through and be able to deliver, because if Pitts isn't the first read, Mariota is not going through his progressions on every play. That's and that just the longer he's in, I feel like the less likely it is of him getting 1,000 yards.
Yeah. Damn. John?
Yeah, I'm out, buddy. Yeah. But 2 reasons. One is last year it was him and CP. I mean, that was the only 2 guys.
That's true.
And you had Matt throwing the ball, to be honest. And Matt, Matt, for all whatever you can say about Matt, like he's pretty accurate with the ball for the most part. So he but anyway, he's going to get his yards last year. This year he's got more around him. We've got others. We've got Drake. We've got Oz. We've got Brian Edwards and Parker Hesse. Whoever else you want to name. But I mean, he's not, I don't think that, and Mariota. So I don't know that he's going to see what those other guys. I think, like I said, Drake, I think will have a hell of a year. But he may be in that 700, 800 range for me. But I'm fine with that if we can get his ass in the end zone more.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, I'll be totally fine with that. All right.
Okay.
Mariota will play at least 8 games.
God, I hope not. So I'm out. No, because I'm gonna tell you, if he don't get pulled because he sucks, he'll get injured. He don't know how to slide.
Good possibility.
Yeah.
Trey?
Let's see. We got the Seahawks, then the Browns, then the Bucks, then the Niners, then the Bengals. I think that would be 8, right? Or
that's 8, yeah.
Yeah, Bengals. So does he play? Does he get in at the 49ers or the Bengals?
We have to be rid of time.
I'm gonna say out because I don't believe that Marcus is suddenly gonna transform and be a different guy. So I think he'll lose his job on his own merit, kind of, we'll see maybe some more of these kind of mistakes. Not every game, but still where, maybe he loses a couple of more games after the Seahawks game, hopefully. And, or like Mike said, he is known to get injured, but I'm going to have to say, yeah, out. Man, that's tough. I could see the last start being the Bengals game, and then he actually plays the very next week against the Panthers.
Yeah.
You almost would rather play him against the Panthers, I feel
At
like.
home, right?
But at the same time, Cincinnati hasn't.
Yeah.
True.
Their defense isn't what makes them scary. It's their offense. So who knows? And Ritter going back to Cincinnati for his first start.
I would love it.
Love that. He's not going to be uncomfortable playing there. So
nope. No, there'd probably be half Bearcat fans in there too.
Yeah, you know what? We would probably travel pretty well for that game. There would at least be a lot of Ritter fans. You're right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm out, and I think kind of the same reason that Trey just said. I mean, I think he'll probably lose it himself. And I don't want to read too much into it, but like when the press asked Arthur Smith about, like, yesterday, they asked him about Mariota, his progression. What do they feel about him in the first 2 games? It's really quick. It's like, I think his improvement, but as a team, we've got to get better. And he goes on to something else completely. Like, it's not like he doesn't spend time defending him or anything else. It's just like a sentence, and then it's on to, like, the team's got to be better, and we got to do this better and that better. It's not all on Marcus, blah blah blah. So I don't know that there's a ton of confidence there. And he I know they're in the building with him when they see the film and everything, but dude, you see, you got eyes, man. You can kind of see what's going on here, right? I mean, like, you're the head coach, but All right.
I was in high school, and I cheated on my girl like 100 times. And every time she would bring it up, I would do that. I would say, man, we talking about the past, man. Let's focus on the future and what we could build together and the positive things, and then, where we can go. Like, I'm telling you, I know that tactic. He'll be on the bench. Trust me. Next.
Perfect. Great analogy there. Hope she's not listening. It doesn't matter now. You're happily, you're fine. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. And there's a reason I'm asking this, because I'll get to that in a second. Deion Sanders is the greatest defensive player of all time.
I'll give you one. In my opinion, he's the greatest football player of all time. I've never seen Jerry. I think they ranked him, and Jerry Rice won. And I don't know how you put Jerry Rice in front of Deion Sanders. There was times that Jerry was not dominant. There was no time that Deion was not dominant. I've never seen a player take away half of the field where it's just, I'm not throwing over there. Since he checking you, I'm not throwing it to you. The best player on your team is void.
Yeah.
Well, I've never seen that in sports where it's just, since he's on you, I'm not throwing it to you. To me, he's the greatest football player of all time. So it goes beyond defense.
Sorry.
I'm gonna say out. Love Deion. I love Deion. I think he's one of the best. But yeah, I'm gonna say out for me.
The NFL.com had a top 10 list and of defensive play, and this is also subjective, of course. It's this guy's opinion or whatever, whoever's opinion, but they ranked him number 1. And I mean, I agree with what you said, Mike. I mean, the only diss I'd say on him is he didn't love to tackle folks, and we knew that. I mean, like, he wasn't a huge about getting his head in there. I mean, he had 19 return touchdowns. It was this stood forever until Devin Hester, I think, tied it. They had number 2 Ed Reed, which Ed Reed might be, like, for me, like, if I'm not picking Deion, Ed Reed is about as good as it gets.
Young Lawrence Taylor on there.
Yeah, surprisingly he's number 10 out of the top 10. Yeah. So
I'll read the list. I'm
so
down here this list.
I'll start at 10. So they got Lawrence Taylor 10, Reggie White 9.
Yes.
Bob Lilly, who was around before any of us.
This list is invalidated. If you have Bob Lilly over Reggie White, that's
Ronnie Lott 7. Deacon Jones 6. I have no problem with these except for so far the Bob Lilly one. Dick Butkus 5.
Yes.
Mean Joe Green number 4.
Yes.
Rod Woodson 3. And then, of course, Ed Reed and Deion. I think you're missing Ray Lewis in that list.
And Troy Polamalu.
Troy Polamalu was awesome. I mean, this,
Ray
like I
Lewis
said,
got to be on there.
you're splitting hairs with some of these guys. But I mean, and you got to take into account the position. But yeah, I mean, defensive end wise, Lawrence Taylor was the most dominant guy I'd ever seen.
Yes.
I mean,
Lawrence Taylor was something.
he was approaching.
He got number 10.
Yeah. So,
he was breaking legs.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, a couple more. Let's see. DQ will get another head coaching job in the NFL.
No, God, no. Great person, but no, he's not. No, sorry. And I love him, but no.
Sorry.
He will. The media loves him. The league loves him. He's got the kind of personality that teams like to market in terms of using for their football team. So I personally don't think, I would want to hire him. I think he is kind of, I think you saw him peak, and I think he is what he is. And the guy's great if he gets, insane talent, but if he doesn't have insane talent, what are you going to do? And that's usually why you hire a coach, because you don't have the talent to win.
So this is the first one.
I'm in,
we don't
but I
have
would
to
be
ask
out.
John. So this is the first one where we don't have to ask. We can skip right over John and go. John is going to say out.
No, I would say out for me. Yeah, personally, yeah. But no, I don't doubt that some team might. But to me, man, he fits like the college mold better. To me,
I would love to see
he should go to college.
He would be successful.
He like
Florida's going to have an opening, I think, here pretty soon.
Yeah,
and that's where he started his coaching.
Exactly.
Well, not technically, but that was where he had a lot of his growth at. But
and I mean, the slogans and the T-shirts and all that stuff, that works a lot better at the college level than it does in the NFL. So
we had so many hashtags under the quinning.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was quinning.
Another thing that works when you're winning, but when
in brotherhood.
Yeah, the brotherhood.
Yeah, brotherhood.
Dude, I can't tell you, man, how many times we were doing, before he was fired, like those quotes after the games. I'm like, dude, just stop, man. Just shut the hell up. I mean, we're done, man. Like, don't no. And last, Fortnite. If you guys play video games, are y'all in or out on Fortnite?
I'm gonna say, me personally, I don't play games at all, so I'm out. But my nephew is at this moment, he's 10. His parents have on school nights have been in bed asleep, and they've gotten up several times that this boy has pretended to go to sleep and woke up and been playing at 3-4 a.m. in the morning, been tired of school the next day. That has to be an amazing game. I'm not being funny. The way people play it has to be awesome. I've never played. I couldn't tell you. I'm out, but I have to say in, because everybody, it's like the greatest game, ever to people. So I would say it's probably an amazing experience.
Right.
I'm out. I actually played Fortnite. I played the first 4 seasons when it first came out, and I mean, I'm gonna be honest, like Mike said, it was great. It was a lot of fun. But since then, just moved on to other games. Not as interested in it anymore. But there is something about it, man. I know the kids can't break away from it.
They can't.
There's something good about it.
Yeah. Now, Liam, it's one of definitely the ones he plays a lot. And he had, like, at first I was like, dude, that's so, like, no, dude. Like, we grew up, like, not grew up, but like I was playing Call of Duty back in the early 2000s, like when it first came out. So that was all I was used to. And then all of a sudden he's like, dude, just play it with me one time. I'm like, all right, fine. So I started playing, and like people start building shit. I'm like, what is going on? Like, what?
It's crazy. You watch those kids, man.
Like,
it's build a whole
so
tower,
fast. I'm like, dude, I just want to shoot people. Like, why do I have to build these walls? And like,
it takes real skill, man.
Dude, he's amazing, man. Like, we'll play duos together, and like he knows I'll play with him, and I'll do a few single games on my solo games by myself. But like, he knows my methods. Like, I'm gonna find a bush to hide in with a sniper rifle.
He just straps you on his back like Yoda, huh? He's just carrying you throughout that.
I'm like, our classic one is he'll run into like a battle, and I'm just sitting there like picking him off while he's like distracting everybody. Like, it's great.
Like building.
Oh yeah. And then if he gets killed, like, I'm like, here's my controller, dude. Like, you go ahead and finish this out, because
like, where'd this guy come from?
Yeah.
That's exactly right, man. Because his level is so much higher than mine. Like, like he'll be like at a 200 level and mine's like 11, so like they'll get in there. So like if we're in his lobbies, we're getting all these like ridiculous sweat type players, know. And so I'm like, dude, I don't stand a chance because these guys, so and then so I'm in just because it's fun to play with him and he doesn't get on to me too bad. If he does, I'll just put him mad and whoop his ass, and then he's fine. So,
now that I will say is the coolest thing to me. That like the coolest shit on earth. I would say top 3 is like a dad that can play Madden with his son. To me, I don't see that. I mean, that is someone that has to be top 3 in life. If you can play Madden with your son and he know what he's doing, the way it's competitive, and he'll get better and better. That is classic because it don't matter if you like a 70 and he's like 40, like you can still battle it, man. So that's just awesome. I think that is one of the coolest things on earth.
Yeah, he hasn't beaten me yet. I think it's going to be a while.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, because he's not here to defend himself. So I mean, I can't say much.
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
He might listen to the show and be like, "Dad, you asshole," but he's still caught up in like. If he gets behind, man, he's passing. Like he's too predictable right now. Like he's not, he doesn't understand the defenses as well. So like some of the stuff he's calling, like I can just easily. And look, man, I'm not going to hold back. I'm sorry. Like
Dad's picking you apart right now, Liam. I hope you do listen to this.
If I get up 49-7, like I might back off a little bit, but like for the most part, because like I said, he gives me shit on Fortnite. So like if he's going to sit there and like yell at me, like,
it's fair.
Dude, that's right. It is.
Yeah. Like I don't want, like the last time we played, he didn't even say anything. Like that's how I know he's pissed. Like he'll stop talking. And then like, and then I'm like, dude, you all right? And he won't even say anything. I'm like, dude, just turn the game off. No, I want to finish it. All right, fine. And then at the end, he'll put down the controller and leave the room. I'm like,
yeah.
And then he'll have to come back later. And that's good. That's good.
Liam, buddy. We love you, man.
Yeah. So anyway, all right, guys.
Time will come, buddy. Don't worry.
Yeah, it'll be one day for sure.
Don't you worry.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. One day
he's gonna get arthritis in them hands, Liam. He's gonna be able to hit that X button, man. Then you could go away with it.
That's great. Well, man, we'll close it out. Trey, other than if you're watching on YouTube, you can see, but man, tell the folks where they can find you that are listening on the podcast.
Yeah, man, y'all can find me on Twitter at Tre'Shon, TRE with the 3 SHON. And then you can also find us at Falcons _ATB, part of the ATB network, working with like Mike and John mentioned earlier, a couple of GOATs with Fleek and Savion. We also got our boy Hunter as well. So, come check us out. Really appreciate you guys letting me be on here. I knew we were going to have a great show, man. And it was a great time.
Okay, man.
We love having you, Trey. And he's important. He got 2 names. I mean, we had to have him. It was a blast, buddy. It was a blast. We got to have you back on.
Absolutely, yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned Hunter. We're going to get Hunter on at some point too. Already reached out with him. Dude puts out some great content. He does some of the all 22 studies and puts out some good stuff on Twitter. So if y'all aren't, make sure you follow all those guys. And definitely the show this week was great. I'm going to watch a show about y'all kind of covered a little bit of everything. I mean, about the Rams and going into the Seahawks. So, it was awesome. So yeah, man, thanks for having us, or thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, man.
And then we will, late game. So we'll probably be on Monday, man. We'll probably do Monday recap.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch the game, like I said, depending on how Sunday goes on the baseball field. I'll watch the game late on Sunday. So I'll be off Twitter, like I said. Mike, you can go at
I will be live tweeting y'all's answers 21-3.
So there you go. Yeah. So I hope you're right. And then
that's right too.
Yeah, man. And so you can follow us out of your effing mind on Twitter. You can follow us on Instagram. We do a little bit there, out of your Falcon mind. And you can email us, atlfalconfancast@gmail.com, like Jason did. Again, man, we appreciate that email, dude. That means a lot to us. And like I said, hope this episode and you like this one. And like I said, we're gonna keep doing more. Now that we're part of the Variety Sports Network, we're gonna be doing a lot more live streams and get that going probably on the recap shows and just start doing some cool stuff with it. So looking forward to it.
Jason, I appreciate you again, man. That was awesome, the email, buddy. So we really appreciate you, and we're glad that we can make your day because y'all damn sure make ours. And Trey got a really important job, man. He going into the what you call it, like the
12th man
lion or something, or like the mouth
lion's den.
Yeah, he going to the lion's den by himself. man, he gonna represent in that madhouse that is Seattle. So come on, Trey, you gotta represent, and good luck, buddy.
Yep,
I
absolutely.
appreciate it.
Yep. All right,
You
man.
have to be out of your Falcon mind to do some shit like that. So
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate you, buddy.
All right, man. Well, we will catch y'all Sunday, and let's get a Falcons win. Let's get 1-2, and then get the Browns after that, and see what
That's
happens.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Out of your Falcon mind.
Yep. We're out of
Peace.
here.